This story is about Jesus having one last meal with his apostles. Jesus made quite a few enemies during his life for his teachings, his miracles, his patience, and especially for the love of every class of society. The opposing religious authorities were enraged and insecure as they didn't want the masses to believe the message of God which Jesus brought. Their hatred came to a point where they started to plan to kill him. And for doing this sort of a thing, they needed an insider to provide them with the information they needed. Judas was that one apostle who sold his trust for 30 pieces of silver. So during the supper, imagine this, everybody sitting down, and after the meal, Jesus tells his 12 apostles that one of you will betray me tonight and will hand me to the authorities to execute me. Shock, rage, and sadness filled apostles' hearts, and they started to question who that traitor was. I want you to just feel this moment and remember it as we're going to talk about it later. So that moment was the catalyst for all the events to come. After the dinner, Jesus, among a few apostles, went to a forest to pray where Judas had already gathered and hid the enemies to arrest him. Jesus told his apostles to wait as he wanted to pray in silence and went a little far from everyone. As a pre-decided signal, Judas went towards Jesus and gave him a kiss, which is known as the kiss of Judas. It's quite a famous subject for different paintings. So when he gave him a kiss, that's when the angry mob came out and arrested Jesus and then eventually crucified him. It is said that later Judas really regretted doing this and he returned all the silver and committed suicide. Guys, today we are talking about Leonardo da Vinci's painting, The Last Supper. Okay, this painting has to be one of Leonardo's favorite ones, I assume, because it has so many subjects, so many expressions, so many different gestures. And as far as my understanding of Da Vinci's drawing especially is that he loved drawing exaggerated facial expressions. He looked for unusual features and unique faces. And also, what's really different about this painting is that he introduced the sense of profound perspective which was missing in the art before it. So the painting Last Supper is the one he made in 1490s for a convent in Milan, Italy. And this painting depicts that one moment of shock which we talked about earlier in the story time, and it shows that grief which all the apostles felt in their hearts. Now, this biblical event has been painted many times before. So once Judas was placed on the other side of the table alone as to recognize who he was. Other time everyone had a halo but Judas, so we can see who the traitor is. But what's the most fun thing for me in this painting is that at the first glance we are as clueless as the apostles in the painting. Think about it. There is no clear sign unless you know it beforehand. In my opinion, this painting is a theatrical experience. The scale of it and the way it engages the audience, because you actually feel like you're sitting on the other side of the table and looking at all the apostles and Jesus. So the viewer and the subject of the painting collectively don't know evidently who the traitor is. Everyone has a suspicious gaze towards each other, and it's not obvious at all as to who will do such a crime. And I think that curiosity draws us in and keeps us interested in this painting. Now let's talk about the fate of this painting. I mean, much like the subject, this painting itself had a tragic life as well. Materials-wise, it was a very experimental piece for Da Vinci, as he didn't paint a fresco like he previously did, but made a concoction of gesso, white lead on the surface, and then oil painted on top of it, which started flaking as soon as the painting started. Other factors were extreme humidity of the wall, and then during French Revolution the convent was used as armory and a stable, and the building had been under attack during World War II as well. But it survived for all of us to go visit it and marvel its beauty, and also in the context of history understand what had been going on at that time and what was the moment like, and to be a part of that moment. That for me is a very special thing about this painting. Hope you all enjoyed. This is Art Collective. I am your host Sabah, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!